Good evening. Welcome to Dover for tonight's Monster Mile 100. My name is Robert Hill Jr. Joining me in the booth tonight is Chris Wright, Josh Adams, and Nick Massey. Guys, how you doing tonight?
I think we're doing pretty good tonight. Everybody showed up. Nick left. I think he went up to the admin chat. There's going to be a lot of great eyes on this race tonight, trying to look for some talent, to poach some talent, I think, right, Josh, for next season?
I don't know about that, but we're making sure we keep this race straight here.
Well, that's definitely the goal. As we take a look at the starting grid, Tommy Ryan on the pole alongside Trevor Hunt in row number 1, Jeff Green, Leighton Norgard, row 2, Trey Holmes, Jay Connor in row 3, row 4. As we'll get to that one now. Row 4, Jeff Ryan, Andrew Rucker with Corey Abbott and Frank Foti rounding out the top 10. Chris, why don't you take us through to position number 20?
All right, they're just outside the top 10. We got Caleb Acumer, Andrew Hardcastle, Michael Hosick. We got Darren Staff, Jess Story, Thomas Coonan, Gavin Higgins, Connor Thompson-Gardner, Mark Rebelos, and Hunter Smith will round out our top 20 tonight.
Dave Carpenter, Brent Jones in row 11, row 12, Jaden Racimas, Casey Hatch, row 13, Cal Hanshaw, David Woods, row 14, Dustin Haynes, and Brian Carrington with Harrison Talon and Dave Huckleberry rounding out the top 30. Chris, take us through the rest of the field.
Yeah, rounding out the field, we got Clay Mitchell, Austin Annabit, Dominic Wright, Michael Machada, Dustin Dewar, Michael Daniel Martinez, Brandon Ultra, and Brett Baldak will round out our 36-car field as they begin to roll off the pit road.
Taking a look at tonight's weather, it is partly cloudy with ambient temperature 77 degrees Fahrenheit, track temp 114, with wind speeds of about 14 miles per hour. Shout out to our friend Jeff McConey of McConey Setup Shop and McConey Entertainment, providing us with a graphics package to test out tonight. Just seeing how this looks ahead of potentially a switch for this series next season as the field working their way around. Connor Thompson opting to start at the rear of the field. He had some surgery this morning and is here for the race, just trying to stay comfortable out there as we're going to get set to go green. Pace car is off. It's going to be Tommy Ryan, Trevor Hunt leading us to the field. Leading us to the green, I should say. As the field works their way around, green flags out, and we're underway in the Pit Pass Network ARCA Series. Tommy Ryan, Trevor Hunt into turn number 1.
They're 3 wide already in midfield here.
Yeah, like Chris mentioned, drivers jockeying for positions here early on. A couple drivers already up a bunch of spots. Brian Carrington up 6 to start the day here. But Leighton Norgard, one of those guys that's really been one to beat this season so far, guys. Currently holding on to that 4th position on the inside of Jay Connor, chasing down Jeff Green, who has Trevor Hunt and Tommy Ryan just up the road. This is your battle for 4th.
Norgard's one of the guys that's really good. Oh, we got a little bit of a Houdini here. I believe that's Jay. But Norgard's really good at Dover in every car. And tonight, from what I understand, you're going to really be loose, taking off and tight later. And I believe he might be records. Maybe not.
Looks like Casey Hatch having a slight issue. He's going to fall towards the rear in car number 31. Making a rare start here tonight is Hatch. Currently holding himself back in the 34th spot, just behind Dave Huckleberry, a driver, of course, we know well as the lead producer here at the Elite Racing Network. Also getting his toes wet here behind the wheel this season, and has done a pretty nice job here so far.
And we are wrecking Hunter Smith. Oh, it's going to be big. We got 3 cars. They're coming back down the hill.
Thomas Coonan involved, Brent Jones involved as well. We'll take a look and see what has just happened to bring out caution number 1 here today. Does involve Brent Jones in the 89 machine. Might have started further up the road here, Chris, potentially. But we'll take a look anyways. Oh, yeah.
I think Thomas just might not have been happy with Hunter Smith about something.
So we'll wait for an update from race control. But yeah, Thomas Coonan, I should say. Sorry, not Connor Thompson. Thomas Coonan just gets into the back of Hunter Smith, sends him around. Brent Jones gets collected, Mark Robilas as well. That'll bring out caution number 1 here this afternoon as Jones and company head down pit road. Hatch going to join them, Trey Holmes, Harrison Talon, Hunter Smith, all down pit road. Mark Robilas down there as well. So caution early here, and we'll await the ruling on the tally. I'm going to say probably going to end up going to Thomas Coonan, though.
Yeah, guys, that was a pretty easy one for me. I announced it over the game chat already. The 54 slowed down for the corner. The 05 did not. Wiped him out. Tally 05, Thomas Coonan.
As you see on the top of the scoring ticker, penalty issued to the 05 of Thomas Coonan. That's going to be his first tally of the day. That's courtesy of race controller Josh Adams here tonight. Josh, Chris, both of you guys have a lot of experience around this racetrack. What's one of the big challenges these drivers are going to face as this event moves along?
I think one of the biggest things is just figuring out what line you want to run to save the right front tire. If we run long enough, a lot of times maybe you can even move up and do kind of a diamond run. But I think the biggest challenge is making sure you stay off the wall off of 2. I think we already saw the 05 kind of have a bit of a trouble doing that.
Yeah, and I agree. It's all about trying to make sure you don't drive in too hard, especially when you take off a little bit free. You can really attack out here and slide up across the track, drive back down to the bottom, and before you know it, your right front is just absolutely destroyed. So it's all about keeping that right front on the car because from what I understand tonight, these tires will blow pretty quick if you abuse them.
So definitely something to keep an eye on here as this race goes along. Lap number 7 of 100 here today. So still a long way to go. Couple drivers on the move here in the early stages here. David Woods up 11 spots. Brian Carrington up 11 as well, as is Dominic Wright. As I believe we're getting set to go green once again. Tommy Ryan, Trevor Hunt, Jeff Green, Jay Connor, Leighton Norgard. The top 5 as the pace car is off. As we come back to the Geico restart zone, green flags back out. We're back underway.
What a
Tommy
jump there
Ryan,
for our
yeah,
leader.
good jump. Absolutely.
Another guy that's on his way up towards the top 10 is Frank Fody. Had a little bit of contact there in the mid-pack. It's Thomas Coonan again. He's fallen way off the field.
Yeah, you mentioned Thomas Coonan there. Harrison Talon with some issues as well, as we see Hunter Smith up here chasing down Connor Thompson, who is currently working his way around the Casey Hatch machine. Michael Mencheka down on the Tatch on the bottom, Mencheka up top, chasing down Dave Huckleberry, as Huck currently holding on to the 27th position. A driver on the move making his debut here tonight, Andrew Rucker, in the 14 for this event, currently holding on to the 7th spot. Good to see Rucker out here trying to get some laps in, see what he can do as Jeff Ryan gets into the outside wall. He's going to fall back, gets passed by Darren Staff, Caleb Pecumer, Jess Story, and now Frank Fody as well.
Yeah, it could have been real bad getting into 3 there. He lost all that momentum down the backstretch after he hit the wall. They were 3 wide down there into 3, but did a great job making sure everybody got through there and survived. He's still falling back there. The 10 machine is still catching his breath.
Yeah, definitely going to have to do some work there to catch his breath as Jaden Racimus goes on by. Racimus driving the 19 machine. His father, Jesse, usually the race controller in this series, unavailable tonight due to some work. So thanks again to Josh Adams for stepping in as we ride on board here with Jaden Racimus in the Razor machine. Looks like a bit of a battle back here. No, not much of a battle as Dustin Haynes gets into the outside wall. Shea Mitchell goes on by. Austin and Abnett also going to gain a position as Abnett now chasing down Dewar. Up ahead of him, Dominic Wright side by side with Brian Carrington. Two of the BOR drivers. Those are William White's boys. White owns that BOR team. It's British Online Racing, I think, is what BOR stands for, Chris.
Your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea. All I know is that there's some heavy cloud cover right now that's going to give these guys a ton of grip for the next few laps here while we got this big cloud.
Yeah, the one thing about the Elite Pit Pass Network ARCA series is we do utilize forecasted weather. So that means what we start with is not necessarily what we're going to finish with. And, you know, sometimes what you practice with isn't necessarily correct either, because that weather does change.
We're record on the front stretch, 13's around, 60's involved.
Brian Carrington, Austin, and Abnett going to get together. We'll take a look at the replay machine presented by Robilos Photography. Whoa, that actually starts further up. The 98 gets into the outside wall, David Woods. So Brian Carrington slows up in reaction to that. Austin and Abnett gets into the back of him, and Abnett sends Carrington down into the inside wall. Comes back up, collects an Abnett. He gets into the side of Shea Mitchell, and the pace car exits rather rapidly and works his way out onto the racing surface. So we'll wait for an update here from Race Control on who that tally may end up being issued to.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate there off of turn 4. Get up into the wall really hard. He must have, I would imagine the nose just took off as hard as he hit that wall. It doesn't look like he lifted. And then these boys behind him just had no way to react in time. I don't think the 60 even saw him there until they were able to get left.
Yeah, just kind of unfortunate. Bit of a domino effect there as Andrew Hardcastle heads down pit road. Dave Carpenter, Dustin Dewar, as well as Harrison Talon, Hunter Smith, Brett Jones, David Huckleberry, Casey Hatch, and Austin and Abnett all hitting the pit lane. Tommy Ryan, Trevor Hunt, Jay Connor still leading the way here on lap number 17.
I think Race Control is still looking at the wreck. We have no updates from Race Control just yet.
Yeah, guys, we're going to give the tally to the number 98 of David Woods. As we saw, he lost the nose, went up out the wall. And then I think we're also going to give a checkup warning to the 60. He saw it, but never came off the gas.
So warning issued to an Abnett, tally issued to Woods. And that is how Race Control is going to deem the lap number 16 incident here this evening. Let's hear a quick word from our sponsors, beginning with 4D Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoe and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 4D sim racing shoes are custom engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, while still providing all the comfort needed for those double and triple stints. Visit 4dracewear.com and check out the original racing gloves for your feet. Blue Egg Marketing is another premier partner of the Elite Racing League. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pit crew. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand toward victory lane. Don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big. Of course, pitpassnetwork.com is your series sponsor. Visit pitpassnetwork.com today, for your home for all things motorsports. From news to reviews and interviews, pitpassnetwork.com has got you covered.
Flames will burn and sparks will fly at the NHRA Midwest Nationals, September 27th through 29th at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Kickoff race weekend in style with 2 qualifying sessions in one day, plus the can't-miss show of Nitro Under the Lights on Friday, September 27th. Get tickets at WWTRaceway.com with kids 12 and under free and general admission. The NHRA Midwest Nationals, September 27th through 29th at Worldwide Technology Raceway.
And we are back here at Dover, working lap number 19 under caution number 2. Tommy Ryan, Trevor Hunt, Jay Connor, Jeff Green, Andrew Rucker, the top 5 as we're getting set for the restart here momentarily. Base car about to head pit side and hand the field back over to the 96 of Ryan as he leads down on the inside lane. Field going to come off of turn number 4 this time towards that Geico restart zone where Barney the flagman is going to have the green flag in hand. We're back underway, and Chris Wright, another solid launch there for Tommy Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, he's catching these boys sleeping every single time, so I'd be trying to change up what I'm doing, trying to anticipate that just a little bit better. I mean, it's you're not going to pass a guy in these quick little short runs as caution is out.
Casey Hatch going to be involved in this one. Caution's out again here on lap number 20. That looks like it might be an easy call. Something happened to Hardcastle behind Hatch here. Let's see if we can take a look. Did he get hit from...
I
No,
think
never mind.
They stacked up, and Hardcastle being the last car in line, he was...
Oh, you know what? This is definitely a domino effect. I think it's behind... Who's the purple car on the top side? 72, Michael Menchaca. He hits the wall coming to the green flag here, guys. That stacks up Dustin Dewar, Casey Hatch, and Andrew Hardcastle. Just kind of nowhere to go and runs into the back of Hatch, sends Hatch around, and that will bring out caution number 3. Obviously, we'll see how that's ruled by race control. Domino effect, but, you know, could be ruled on somebody or another.
Well, listen, I'm not race control tonight, but you're the last car in line. Like, why are we trying to take off right on somebody's rear end, you know? Like, what, you know, a little bit more give and take back there. I get that the guy hit the wall and that kind of caused the situation, but we got to take care of each other a little bit more back there outside the top 30.
No, you're definitely right on that, Chris. And
Yeah, we went ahead and assessed it to the 72 just for the simple fact, you know, we're on a restart, the slowest we'll ever go, and the guy's already dragging the wall, making it hard on the guys behind him. So it's tally Michael Menchaca.
so tally issued to the 72 of Menchaca there. That's going to be his first of the day. So a couple tallies here early on, Chris, and that's something these guys are definitely going to have to be aware of. It's very easy to gather a tally if you're at fault for an incident, and it's very easy to cause an incident here at Dover.
What? Can we see what's going on? What is on the hood of this 22 car?
I believe it's Corey Abbott on the hood of the 42 car. See if we can get a better look at that. Yeah, that is Corey Abbott, the owner of Abbott Motorsports, on the hood of the Andrew Hardcastle machine. So there's your answer, Mr. Chris Wright.
Yeah, it just, he's got to clean it up a little bit. Look at that. Make it look a little better.
Making Corey's teeth a little crooked by running into the back of Casey Hatch there.
I thought it was Joe Burrow.
That is not Joe Burrow, the NFL quarterback. Absolutely not.
Or you might take that as a compliment.
He may or he may not, depending on... actually, you know what? Hold on. Hey, Corey Abbott, it's Robert, Chris, and Josh up here in the booth. You got a copy?
I do, sir.
How do you feel about Joe Burrow, the quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals?
I think Joe's underrated. I think he's a sneaky good QB.
There you have it. Corey Abbott would be impressed by Josh Adams, thinking that the face on the hood of the Andrew Hardcastle machine is that of Joe Burrow. Corey, how's your race so far? What do you got to do to get up there, my friend?
Well, first we gotta go green for longer than 5 laps. Tonight, I'm going to need the long run. I'm not great on the short runs. I really just need us to get in a groove so we can get some laps knocked out of the way here.
Chris, Josh, anything for Corey here or Joe Burrow before we get him back down to his team?
Yeah, all I was gonna say is I'm glad you gave him some context, but it's all kind of coming together. He's got a black, orange, and white paint scheme.
It's true.
Yeah,
That's the
I got
colors.
nothing to add for you, Corey. Hopefully this race finishes for you better than it started. All the bad luck's out of the way. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Chris.
That was Joe Burrow, Corey Abbott, the driver of the number 21 for Abbott Motorsports. We got him back down to his team as we're going to get set for the upcoming restart here. Tommy Ryan again going to be in control. Trevor Hunt, Jeff Green, Jay Connor, Andrew Rucker, the rest of the top 5 once again as we're coming back to the green flag here. Chris, right?
Yeah, and once again, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Look at the jump. Oh, it's not as good as it has been. I tried to give it to him a little premature, and he did not get quite the jump he's gotten.
Yeah, not as strong that time. Still a good start, but Jay Connor may have gotten a bit of a better start. Oh, wow. He's got Trevor Hunt all over his rear end here as they work their way through 3 and 4. Hunt tried to jack up the rear end of that 9 machine of Connor.
They're really stacking up back here about 5th or 6th.
Back here behind Corey Abbott and Andrew Rucker, they're currently chasing down Jeff Green, who holds on to the 4th spot. Yeah, this is definitely turning into a bit of a gaggle here. Darren Staff down on the inside of Gavin Higgins. Shout out to Gavin, by the way. Made his real world racing debut this past weekend. Unfortunately, didn't go as anticipated. Had some mechanical issues, but still cool nonetheless to see our guys out there in the real world.
Yeah, here we go. Everybody's lined back up once again. Getting back down on the bottom. The sun's coming back out. All that grip they had there just a little bit ago, it's gone. They're going to start sliding around, really shoving the nose.
Battles all throughout the field here. You see Connor Thompson and Thomas Coonan. Now Coonan gets by David Woods, moves himself back up to the 8th spot, but we'll jump back up to the front here where this top 3, which is currently Tommy Ryan, Jay Connor, and Trevor Hunt, are trying to pull away from 4th place Jeff Green, but Green and Rucker really trying to close that gap up here to Hunt and get themselves back into that podium fight here in the early stages of this one, working lap number 29.
Yeah, and Rucker's trying to find his way to the front, trying to get some of that hint of the magic that he had here at one time, taking a big dive there underneath Jeff. That's a very Chad Frankenfield type move to dive in that late.
I don't know if Rucker and Chad would like that, though.
Way to the front. We got Trey Holmes back there on a Jimmy Johnson paint scheme. He started at the very tail of the field. He's up to 15th.
Yeah, definitely a good point there, Josh, as you see Trey Holmes on your screen. Started in the 5th spot. I believe he started at the tail, though, like you said, and currently finds himself in the 15th position. Shows is down 10 spots, but still having himself a very solid day up there in that 15th spot. One of those guys that's really good at saving tires and knows what he's got to do to get up there and when he's got to do it.
Yeah, but knowing what you got to do and how to do it is only half the battle when you're trying to survive Dover, a place that has pretty big wrecks on some of these restarts and all the chaos that goes on, and it's really hard to avoid everything when you start at the back.
Tight battle here. Caleb Becumer, Jess Story nearly making contact there off of turn number 2. Somebody slid up into the outside wall a little bit behind them there. I believe that was Connor Thompson, as looks like Andrew Rucker going to be side by side with Jeff Green here. Rucker down to the inside, now clears Green, works his way up into the 4th spot. So Rucker having himself a very solid debut here this evening. Started in the 8th spot, currently in 4th, so up 4 spots on the day as Corey Abbott side by side, now single file, just ahead of Darren Staff. That's your battle for 6th and 7th on the racetrack, currently chasing down Jeff Green and Trevor Hunt. Another driver that kind of has gone the wrong direction here, Leighton Norgard, He currently finds himself in the 16th position, battling with Connor Thompson, and just kind of not doing what we normally see out of Norgard. I believe he has pit though, so having himself a bit of a different strategy. Yeah, he did pit 12 laps ago, so that's kind of why he's off and not necessarily up in the top 5, but still a lot of work to do for Norgard to get his way back up to the front.
Yeah, so what he's wanting right now is he's wanting this thing to stay green for at least 30 laps, more than likely. Get all his track position back and then some, because you can tell he's on newer tires. Look at him drive through the center. He is really, really good back here. He's just in a ton of traffic right now.
He really does need it to go green, of course, being on that off strategy compared to that of those guys ahead of him. I wonder if Trey Holmes is another one of those that is pit. And no, so Trey has not yet been down pit road, trying to save those tires and see if he can last to the end.
We had Rucker really closing in on those top 2, and then he hit the wall pretty good off a 4 last lap.
So Gavin Higgins falling back as well. Yeah, you mentioned Rucker working his way forward, holding on to 3rd now, so was able to get by Trevor Hunt, cleared up into the 3rd spot as we see Trey Holmes falling back. This is a gaggle of race cars here. Kyle Hanshaw, Leighton Norgard, Thomas Coonan, Trey Holmes, and Connor Thompson. So that is 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th all together.
I'll tell you what happened to Trey is he picked the wrong lane. They got side by side in front of him. He went with the bottom. That was not the lane of choice. And Leighton went to the top and made the pass and is now passing the 24 up ahead of him.
You mentioned the 24. That's Michael Hossack. Whoa, Coonan got sideways right there. Looks like he's chasing that race car. I don't know that he did, Chris Wright. Let's rewind that just a little bit. I don't think he did. He did. He absolutely did. Yeah. Never mind. He had a little bit of help there off the nose of the 48 of Trey Holmes. Let's keep an eye on this, though. No, that wasn't Trey's fault, but still contact with the nose there of the Trey Holmes machine. As you see at the top of your screen, your top 3 remains Tommy Ryan, Jake Connor, and Andrew Rucker here at lap number 40 as Michael Hossack dives to the inside of Frank Bodie.
A little bit of contact off of 4. Wadded up down into 1 just a little bit here. Leighton trying to pass all these guys.
What happened to Trevor Hunt? He was up in the top 3 not long ago, now barely holding on to the top 10. Back to the 8th spot. He's got Pecumer and Story just behind him. As that got tight right there with Pecumer and Story.
Trevor in the wall. Off a couple of things last lap. He hit the outside wall pretty good, bounced off of Jeff. They had a pretty tough front straightaway.
I think these boys are starting to feel the effects of having really old tires. These guys that did not take care of them. And they're letting them know right now that, hey, you didn't take care of my tires here, and you're going backwards, you're struggling, you're tight, you're loose. Looking at everybody off the corner, especially up off of 4, everybody's shoving the nose really, really bad.
Yeah, you're definitely seeing that more and more each and every lap as the tires age with the laps going by on the ticker here. It's definitely getting a bit sketchier. As once again, Norgard goes to the high side of Trevor Hunt. Hunt back to the 9th spot. Caleb Pecumer just behind him. Pecumer making his return to the Pit Pass Network ARCA series after a bit of a vacation, we could say.
Tell you what, Norgard is, you can tell that his tires are a lot fresher than everybody else's.
But at this point, is he using those tires a little bit too much? Or do you feel like he has to take advantage of this right now and let strategy kind of fall the way it will?
I think you came and got the tires to put yourself a little bit off sequence. You got to go get it back, and he's done that. And he's not quite back to where he was. They're stacking up down into 3 here pretty hard. Frank Bodie's way up the racetrack. I'm going to tell you what, that Jimmy Johnson machine, he is getting tired of people being slow in front of him. I have seen him try to give the bumper a couple times. He knows it is go time to get some track position right now, and he's probably got a lot better tires just from taking care of them. He doesn't have newer tires, but I would imagine that he is taking care of his tires a lot better than some of these other guys.
Very deep dive there for Holmes to the inside of Hunt. Is Hunt going to fall back now to the 10th spot? Big hit to the outside wall there for Trevor Hunt as Michael Hossack now dives down to the inside. Jess Story just behind him. Frank Foti right there as well. All it takes is one little mistake and you could lose a ton of positions with everyone in this midfield kind of on top of each other at this point.
Yeah, and I think Gavin in the 20s really struggling, but he's keeping such a good, tidy line.
Pecumer got sideways.
Behind him. I mean, if you look back behind the 20, look at everybody stacked up. He's got 10 cars lined up behind him that are just kind of almost running over each other.
And that's what you're going to see as these tires continue to age out. You got Hossack and Foti side by side. You're going to see guys fall back, and you're going to see these side-by-side battles get even tighter as guys on the bottom start to push up. Guys on the top are pushing as well, so they're kind of counter-steering to try to get down to the bottom. It's going to get hairy as this one continues to develop. And speaking of hairy, here's your Harrison Talent update. Currently holding on to position number 23, started 29th. That one machine still looking clean.
Oh, Trey's in the wall hard off of 4.
Trey Holmes out in the outer wall. That 48 machine doesn't look to be too worse for wear, so should be able to continue on. The right front poking out just a little bit, so we'll see what Trey Holmes opts to do. I'm going to think he stays out on the racetrack for now, but if the handling of this machine starts going away further and further for Trey Holmes, you got to think he's thinking pit road.
Yeah, I think them boys up in the front were about to be nervous with that 48 coming, but he just, like Chris said, the 20 has been taking up a pretty good tidy line on the bottom that you're going to just have to go somewhere else, and he pushed it just a little bit too hard.
I'm gonna tell you what, and I'm looking here at like Jess Story as trying to make this pass, and he is nearly pushed up into the left rear a couple times with the car in front of him. So a lot of these guys really struggling with the handling. Here we go again. He's gonna take that look again.
Man, you could see it. He is pushing really hard. That was Jess Story. As behind him, you see 2 cars behind there. Connor Thompson gets absolutely sideways just ahead of Dustin Dewar. Dewar going to clear up to 13th. So Dusty up 22 spots from the start of this one, really taking advantage of some other people's misfortunes as Gavin Higgins finally gets pushed up and out of the way. That's going to allow Caleb Pecumer to go on by as well. Gavin says not so fast, and he battles back down to the inside of Pecumer. That's your battle for position number 8.
I'm gonna tell you, Jess is still trying to make this pass. He just cannot get the drive off the corner. And eventually, when you keep doing this, you're pushing a little bit more, and there's contact. Hopefully there's not in this situation, but most of the time, at some point, there's gonna be contact when you're getting a little bit frustrated.
Watching Kyle Hanshaw and Dave Carpenter battle it out. Trey Holmes just behind them. So Holmes fell from inside the top 10. Now back to position number 18 as he's going to get by Kyle Hanshaw. So definitely not what Trey Holmes was hoping for. Of course, still has not been down pit road, Trey Holmes in the 48, but wanted to be a little bit closer to the front before thinking about that pit stop. This is a gaggle. This is a gaggle of race cars right here, Chris Wright. Jess Story, Trevor Hunt, Michael Hossack, Dustin Dewar, Connor Thompson, and the lap car of David Woods down on the inside as well.
Yeah, this is a bunch of guys who aren't driving very good, have burned the tires up. And you just get the feeling that a caution is coming soon. You're hoping you're wrong, but you get that feeling.
You definitely hope that you're wrong, but all it takes is one little mistake, and all of a sudden, you've got a bunch of cars wrecking together as Jaden Racimus takes it to the pits. In the 19 machine, was having himself a really solid run going early on. Now going to have quite a bit of work to do should we stay green in this one.
And right now, too, is time where you'd like to pit if you're going to pit, because it doesn't look like anybody can make it in fuel. But a Leighton, when he pitted inside that window, a Leighton can make it. But if all these other guys are going to be about 10 or 12, maybe 15 laps short, so if you're going to pit, this is where you'd want to maximize the tires on the other side. But it's a big risk if there is a caution.
And we almost got one there. David Woods in the 98, the lap car, dove it in real deep to the inside of Dustin Dorr, nearly slid up into the left rear of the 32, which absolutely would have brought out a caution and probably would have created a big one, seeing as they are so far up the racetrack right now. And you mentioned a Leighton Norgard there, Chris. He's up to the 4th spot, so Norgard back where he started in this one. The only difference is his tires, as we'll take a look here. Actually, he is not yet pit, so Norgard's still an opportunity to get... Oh, yes, he did. There we go. It's updated now. Last pit 39 laps ago, a Leighton Norgard, still much newer than his competitors. They currently run ahead of him there in Jeff Green, Jay Connor, and Tommy Ryan.
Yeah, and if this thing stays green another 15 or 20, oh, we got a big jam up over here out of 4. Tell you what, that was a great job there by everybody to get through that. That could have been bad. Somebody hit the apron there in the front of that line, and
yeah,
everybody survives.
It's just really tightening up in the midfield because everyone's kind of equalizing on the tires. Wow, Darren Staff, he slides up nearly into the side of David Woods. So Woods trying to get himself back on the lead lap the hard way here. Actually, I believe he may be multiple laps down. Yeah, he is 2 laps down to the leaders. Actually, no, make that 3 laps.
But yeah, we're basically at that point. If you think it's going to go green, here we go. We got a pitter. We got someone coming to pit road.
Trevor Hunt making his way down pit road.
And he's really fast. I think that's going to be a speeding penalty.
And he has called it quits, so I believe he did get a speeding penalty and opted to call it a day.
I think we've heard the 55 and 29 are coming this time too.
The 55 of Darren Staff and his RK Motorsports teammate, Jess Story. So a bit of a team strategy here. These drivers both driving, of course, for Carlos Acosta, one of our colleagues here at the Elite Racing Network, making their way down pit road. We'll see if this triggers anybody else to possibly come down. Of course, the leaders still have not worked their way down pit road.
While we're on the guys pitting, I like that paint scheme, the Baja Blast paint scheme on Darren Staff. Looks like he's got his own graphic company there on the back. Staff Designs, or Designs by Staff, or something I see.
Yeah, Darren Staff always does a nice job with his paints. You see the Mountain Dew scheme there. Baja Blast, Darren Staff Designs on the rear. Good call out there, Mr. Josh Adams. Michael Mancheka coming down.
Paints. I gotta make sure I get that one right.
There we go. Darren Staff paint. He does paint. We see it. As Harrison Talon gonna battle it out with Mark Robilis at the tail of the field. Man, I want to shout this guy out, Chris, that's a little bit further up in the field from these guys, but I don't want to jinx him. I think you know who I'm talking about.
Who are we talking about? I do not.
We're looking at Harrison Talon right now. Who's a little bit further ahead in position?
Mark?
No, Mark is behind in position. We're talking old D-Huck. Mr. Huckleberry.
Where is Huck at?
Dave is currently running in the 23rd spot. Started 30th. Working his way up here. He's actually about to be in a battle here with Dustin Haynes for the 22nd position. So good run here by David Huckleberry.
Yeah, and you know, every once in a while I'll hear from him about something for certain races and whatnot. And it's really hard to tell somebody else how to drive their car. You just kind of give them a broad spectrum of, you know, hey, take care of the tires. It's the same thing everywhere, really. Take care of the tires this week. Don't overdrive the corner. And I believe he might even have a little bit of a driver coach from Nick Mincy over there tonight trying to help steer him right. And that's way better than anything I could tell him. I'll tell you that for sure. Tommy Ryan's on pit road.
So Tommy Ryan, your race leader, comes down pit road. Jay Connor follows him. Here comes Corey Abbott. So Joe Burrow hits pit road. That hands the race lead over now to Jeff Green, who, let's take a look and see if Jeff has been down pit road. He has not. So no pit stops as of yet for Jeff Green. Also coming down pit.
Trey Holmes again. Trey Holmes. He is going to wear the right side off of that machine off before he did some damage
he's
to the right
definitely
side.
done some. I think he's coming pit side. Trey Holmes definitely bringing it pit side. I don't know. This might not be by choice here, guys. It could potentially be a meatball on the right front, as Corey Abbott, Andrew Hardcastle, Gavin Higgins, Dominic Wright also down pit road. So your new top 5: Jeff Green, a Leighton Norgard.
Tommy Ryan's back on pit road.
We see Trey did go ahead and park it.
Is Tommy back on pit road, or is this the same stop?
Tommy's back on pit road.
So potentially an issue on pit road there for Tommy Ryan, as a Leighton Norgard going to go the inside of Jeff Green. New leader is, well, actually it's still a toss-up here between Norgard and Green. And shout out to Jeff Green. He's doing a hell of a job here on the original tires that he started with. Whoa, wow. Corey Abbott nearly wrecks his driver as he just about gets into the back of a Leighton Norgard. That's your tire difference, as Tommy Ryan, wow, Tommy Ryan is now 3 laps down. Was your race leader, now 3 laps down.
Yeah, just to update what happened to Tommy, he came down to pit the first time, and I'm kind of confused as to how it happened because he sat on the pole, but he missed his pit box. So the second time coming through was still his scheduled stop.
Wow. Guys, that's brutal. That's what that is. That is brutal.
Yeah, he was definitely the class of the field here tonight, so we'll see who's going to step up now.
I'll tell you right now, I like a Leighton Norgard if this thing stays green because he doesn't have to pit.
Yeah, Leighton definitely, as you take a look now, currently leading the way by a fair bit over second place Jeff Green. Green falling back from Norgard. You see the gaps on your screen now just below the driver names. So 1.2 seconds separating first and second. Pecumer 8 seconds back in third. Dustin Dewar, Michael Hosick, the rest of the top 5. Then it's Dave Carpenter, Frank Foti, Brent Jones, Jeff Ryan, and Hunter Smith. Smith is another driver that has been down pit road, so could potentially stay out to the end.
And Trey Holmes has loaded up his machine, and he has left Dover.
I think I will say there's a lot of ground to make up and maybe not enough time, but Jay Connor, he's picking up over a second a lap on a Leighton Norgard.
Yeah, but he's going to need way more than a second a lap. I mean, I know he's got the fresher tires, but he's still a lap down, so he's still, what, 25 plus seconds behind him?
So Connor working his way now around 4th place Michael Hosick. 3rd place Dustin Dewar's just up the road from him. So quickly going to work his way back on the lead lap. I have no doubt about that Jay Connor will be able to do that. It's just how quickly is he going to be able to do it, and will he be able to keep it green to get back up there and have something to say to a Leighton Norgard. Currently just 14 cars still on the lead lap. Dustin Haynes, the last of those remaining on the lead lap. Couple drivers that have the same pit strategy as a Leighton Norgard pitting on lap 21 is Jeff Ryan and Hunter Smith, as well as Casey Hatch So we'll see if potentially those guys have a bit of an advantage as well. Still to pit, Jeff Green, Michael Hosick, those guys have not yet been down. Caleb Pecumer, another driver that has not visited pit road, as well as Frank Fody, as Harrison Talon and Connor Thompson Gardner both come down pit road for their scheduled pit stop with 20 laps to go.
Yeah, and all these guys that have stayed out there just wanting to catch a caution. If a caution is caught, it has worked out for them. And with all the different paces out here, I don't think a caution would surprise anybody. You got really slow guys on old tires, you got really fast guys on brand new tires. Like, the difference in speed out here is incredible in some of these situations. And that guy right there, he doesn't care. All those guys he's racing have pitted, so if a caution comes out, he'll pit, get fresh tires, and still be the leader. If it stays green, I'm sure he feels like it's well in hand.
Definitely having himself a good run up there is a Leighton Norgard. Dustin Haynes into the outside wall just ahead of Norgard. That's got to be a little bit unnerving for the race leader, Norgard, as you're just hoping to stay green, keep it clean, and work your way to the end. As you see a couple cars going by Norgard on the bottom, that was Andrew Hardcastle featuring Corey Abbott's face on the hood, and Harrison Talon. And just behind Norgard now is David Woods, as Woods goes down to the inside as well. So lap traffic trying to work their way back onto the lead lap as Haynes gets sideways again. Norgard, he just wants to get by. He's just saying, let me through before you do that again.
Yeah, and Norgard's just got to be smart here. He doesn't need to do anything crazy. He doesn't need to push for anything. The only thing that would hurt Norgard is if Norgard is the caution.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to see that. As just kind of looking through, does seem like everyone's really separated amongst the lead lap cars as Jay Connor now gets to the inside of Dustin Haynes. He's trying to close that gap up there to a Leighton Norgard, try to get himself back on lead lap. Like Josh Adams mentioned earlier, one of the quicker cars as Rabilas gets into the outside. Oh, no. That was about to be a big moment right there as Mark Rabilas unglues himself from the outside wall and nearly collects that of Jay Connor, who does have one of the quicker cars on the racetrack, but I think the pocket watch is working against him right now. Another driver with a lot of speed, if we do get another caution, and would be one to watch, is Andrew Rucker, having himself a really solid run there. He's in the 15th spot, so that doesn't really tell the whole story of his race here so far. Of course, we've seen him up inside the top 3 on multiple occasions, but pit strategy kind of working against Andrew Rucker as he's unlapped himself up past second place. Still has to get by the race leader, though, of a Leighton Norgard. As Brent Jones and Hunter Smith battle it out for 9th. Smith going to clear into that 9th spot. Jones going to fall back to 10th. That's Dave Huckleberry just up the road from them, currently holding on to position number 25. Now, Chris, at this point in the event, if you're a Leighton Norgard, you're just holding onto that wheel and hoping and praying that it stays green.
Yeah, but I mean, even if a caution comes out, it's not going to be terrible because everybody's going to have to come. Even the guys who have pitted under green, like Jay and some of those guys, you're not going to be able to win the race staying out here on old tires. So no matter what, now if you're late and you want it to stay green, obviously for the last 10 laps, you don't want it to deal with anything. But if a caution comes out, it's not like you're going to get trapped in 10th and have no shot.
Jeff Green to pit road. No, you're definitely right on that, Chris. And I think if a caution were to come out right now, Leighton would be okay. He has the 4th pit box from the pit exit, so it's not like he has a ton of work to do to exit the pit road. A guy like Dave Carpenter, who currently holds on to 2nd, that might be a different story. Started 21st, so his pit box is way out. He'd have to dodge some traffic leaving and entering pit road in order to have a shot at maybe getting back up there to the front of the field for a restart.
I guess we'll see how good Norgard has done on his tires. Because that's a
It's
new
Jeff
point.
Ryan.
Oh
Jeff
no!
Ryan up here in turn 1.
9th place, Jeff Ryan goes around. I guess we will definitely be able to see what the deal is. That's unfortunate. As Andrew Hardcastle into the back of Jeff Ryan. Sends Jeff around. I'm not even going to wait for Josh Adams to make the call because I think I know how that one's going to go. I believe it's going to be a tally on the 22.
You are correct.
There you go. Tally 22 of Andrew Hardcastle. I believe that's his first of the day.
Now, the car to watch here is Jay, but I think he's going to have to pit too. You went so long on these tires. Jay staying out? Nope, here he comes.
There, wow. Oh, slow down, Jay. He got it back. He got it down to speed. Let's keep an eye on pit exit here before we step away for a quick commercial break. Does look like everyone
pitted with 30 car lengths, so like he should be the first one.
Does look like everyone has come down pit road. Andrew Rucker going to stay out, and I believe he'll get a wave around to put him back on the lead lap. But getting that wave around, you're still going to be starting at the tail of the field. Leighton Norgard easily wins the race off of pit road. Andrew Rucker taking his wave around, going to get back on the lead lap. Dave Carpenter, 2nd off of pit road. Michael Hostek, 3rd. Dustin Dewar, Caleb Pecumer, going to be the top 5 exiting. And actually, no, Rucker was on the lead lap. So Andrew Rucker going to restart in position number 2. And that just shows you how big of a gap Leighton Norgard had. He came down pit road, came back out, and still held on to the spot over somebody that was still out there on the racetrack.
I believe Rucker got the lucky dog. I think he'll come.
You're right on that. Yeah, Rucker's coming down. So forget everything I just said. We're going to step away. We'll be right back with the conclusion of the Monster Mile 100. It's the Pit Pass Network ARCA series on the Elite Racing Network. Don't go anywhere.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we're going to go quickly to Chris Wright with an update. Something just happened here under caution, Chris.
Yeah, we just wrecked under caution here. They were catching up off of turn 2. The 10 checks up. The 38 of Jeff Green gets into him. They both spin down the backstretch.
Let's take a look and see what happened. Wow. So I believe that'll be a caution contact penalty to the 38 of Jeff Green.
Riding times at Dover.
Wow.
Not even safe under yellow.
So a damage penalty under caution has been issued to Jeff Green. This will be a natural green-white checkered, I do believe, as well. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Chris.
I have no idea. I believe he will get a severe damage
No,
penalty.
I meant on the green-white checker. Is this a natural one, or is this the first of 3?
I think it's a natural one.
I believe it is as well. So your top 5: Leighton Norgard on the inside, Dave Carpenter is outside, Michael Hossack, Dustin Doer, row 2, Caleb Pecumer in the 5th spot with Frank Foti to his outside in 6th. As we're coming back to the green flag this time, pace cars off, and we are green. Will we stay green though? That's the big question.
They just let Leighton get like 15 car lengths here.
Massive jump there for Norgard. Contact between Carpenter and Hossack as we're going to come around to the white flag this time.
Leighton's way out there. He's going to get the white.
White flag in the air, brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. It's the Whiplash Simcams white flag. Leighton Norgard headed down the pack straight away. He's going to work his way through 3 and 4 for the final time. Off at turn number 4, checkered flag once again. It's a Leighton Norgard picking up the top spot. Dave Carpenter going to come home 2nd. Dustin Doer 3rd. What a race for Do Good.
Yeah, I mean, right behind it, you got Hossack in 4th. We got
Frank Foti 5th.
Wow, Brent Jones up there in 9th. Got Jay comes back to 6th. Hunter Smith, who was in the first caution, 7th. Caleb Pecumer, Brent Jones, Casey Hatch, Rucker.
Caleb Pecumer just wrecked the race leader.
Yeah, not sure what happened there.
Wow. Pecumer comes up to celebrate with Norgard. I think he actually makes contact with Frank Foti and accidentally spins out Norgard. But either way, Leighton Norgard going to pick up the victory, as we'll take a look at your finishing results here momentarily. But first, we're going to step away. When we come back, we'll look at the finishing order and talk to your podium finishers. We'll be right back on the Elite Racing Network.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back here at the Monster Mile. Chris Wright, let's take a look at our finishing results after what was a pretty wild one here tonight.
Yeah, it was a crazy night tonight here at Dover. We saw a lot of cautions early, big long stretch of green in the middle, and then we got that green-white checkered there at the end that everybody loves.
Leighton Norgard picking up the victory. The driver out of the Midwest beats Dave Carpenter. A solid run for Carp, up 19 spots to finish second. Dustin Dewar, the biggest mover by far, started 35th, finishes third. Michael Hossack, fourth. Frank Fode, fifth. Jay Connor is sixth. Hunter Smith, seventh. Caleb Pecumer, eighth. Brent Jones, ninth. Casey Hatch finishes in 10th. Chris, why don't you take us through to position number 20?
Yeah, and right here we got guys who put it under green, got caught up in some stuff tonight. We got Andrew Rucker, got the lucky dog there on that last caution. Jeff Ryan, we saw what happened to him. Corey Abbott, Jess Story, Gavin Higgins, Darren Staff, Dustin Haynes, Tommy Ryan, who had to make 2 trips to pit road under green. Kyle and Hanshaw there in 19th. Connor Thompson Gardner rounds out our top 20.
21st is Jeff Green, who got caught in a caution incident. Dave Huckleberry, 22nd. Solid run for him. Andrew Hardcastle, 23rd. Shea Mitchell, 2 laps down in 24th. Mark Robilas and Harrison Talon, 25th, 26th, 3 laps down apiece. David Woods, Michael Menchaca round out the cars that finished 4 and 5 laps down, respectively. Dominic Wright, Trey Holmes round out the top 30, and the rest of your field is Jaden Racimus, Trevor Hunt, Thomas Coonan, Brian Carrington, Austin and Abnett, and Brett Baldick. Actually, Baldick, Martinez, and Ultra all did not make the start. Let's go ahead and bring in our third place finisher, Dustin Dewar, the Dragon, who's standing by with Chris Wright.
Yeah, I am standing here with Dustin Dewar, and Dustin worked out just like you drew it up tonight, right? You managed to start at the back, found your way to the top, and finished second there in that Volkswagen.
Heck yeah, third. I finished third. Dave finished second. Another do-good car, 2 do-good Chevrolets or Volkswagens, whatever we're running in this series, in the top 3 tonight. How about that? Wow.
Yeah, that's incredible stuff. You know, what did you guys bring tonight that you didn't have the rest of the season? Just some new stuff imported from Germany?
You know, I'm just hoping, yeah, they don't call for any strip downs or anything tonight, because we started in the back. We knew we weren't going to make it through qualifying, you know, and we were trimmed out a little bit too much. So it is what it is, but we put the cars up front, and that's all that matters, just like you said, just like we drew it up.
Yeah, so talk to us. How did you survive the early stuff? And then we had that long green flag run, and how did you position yourself to move forward there and save your tires to make it last?
Yeah, just got, obviously, anytime you're at one of these tracks where a bunch of cars gonna get collected, you're lucky if you survive those wrecks like that. And that was part of starting in the back, was to avoid all that chaos, and it worked out for me. That caution, that lap, I believe it was 16, 15, 16. Me and Dave came in for tires. Might have been 18, whatever, it doesn't matter, but we came in for tires there because we knew we had enough fuel to make it from there. So at that point, I figured a Leighton had the race won if it went green, and me and Dave were in a race for second and third. And never does it work out like you plan, right? Never does it work out, but holy moly, it worked out tonight.
That's right, it did. And before we let you jump out of here and celebrate and get a word with David, why don't you tell us who helps make it happen, helps get you on the racetrack each and every week?
Heck yeah! First of all, big shout out to Do Good Motorsports. Without these guys around me, I wouldn't be here. It's a team event. We're a family, and these guys make it worth the time out here. Big shout out to Miss Goodies, home of the famous Hooded Tall, y'all. If you haven't heard about the Hooded Tall, if you haven't seen the Hooded Tall, you need to get on Facebook and go to Miss Goodies today. They're the hottest thing around. Homemade. Renee spends her dearly loved time making these things, and your kids will love them. The grandkids will love them. Heck, you're going to love them too. So be sure to give her some love and check her out. Big shout out to JD's Hilltop Salvage in Goodrich, Wisconsin. Hello, Dad, up there on top of the beautiful Goodrich Hill. Get your salvage taken care of today. Give JD a call. the NHPA, National Horseshoe Pitching Association. Y'all get out and pitch Horseshoes America. This is a sport that, you know, it's hard, but it's not that hard. Man, if you need some more information on that, get a hold of me right now. Memory lanes in Athens. To you guys in the booth, we couldn't do this without you. Thank you for what you do. Thank you so much. Y'all have a good night and Godspeed.
All right, congrats on the run, Dustin. We look forward to seeing you back in action next week again, and maybe you can get just a little bit better and get up there in victory lane next week.
Heck yeah, let's do it, boys.
That was Dustin Dragon Doer coming home in third tonight. Let's go ahead and talk to our second place finisher, Dave Carpenter. Carp, you got yourself a runner-up finish tonight. How the heck did you do that?
How about that, boys? Whew. Well, it was, one finally played into my favor, slow and steady.
That was an absolutely phenomenal finish for you. Maybe wasn't what you expected early on, thinking, you know, maybe top 15, top 10, but coming home in
exactly.
second. Why don't you walk us through your night, and how did you go about making that strategy call that really got you there at the end?
Well, I just stayed out of trouble early on. I mean, I didn't qualify very well, and then when that first caution came out, it was like, well, you know, we kind of needed to go 25 laps on a set. I figured, yeah, we'll pit now, far enough back. I lost about 10 positions, and then just decided to save. And it started paying off when some guys started, that had already pitted, ran their right front off and started having tire problems. And I guess the leaders couldn't make it on fuel, is what I understand. So they were going to have to pit anyway. So it was going to work out to where we were going to finish second. Wasn't looking forward to that last caution. That just got the heart rate up a little bit. But, you know, luckily Michael Hossack ran me clean, and he could have sent it in there on me a couple times. But real happy finishing second. Been a while.
So not only is this your first podium finish of the season, this is your first top 10 of the season, Dave. And we're heading towards the final three races of the 2024 B season: Bristol, Kansas, and Michigan. What does this do for the momentum heading into those final three? And do you think maybe you can find yourself back on the podium again in one of those final three rounds?
Well, you just never know. I mean, I could sneak in just like I did tonight, but you know, Bristol is one of those, you know, wild card tracks. I run pretty well at Bristol. I'm pretty good at keeping the fenders on it. It just depends on what everybody else does. I don't know where some of these younger guys find the speed that they do, but I kind of gave up trying, and I'll just give it all I got.
Well, you definitely gave it your all here tonight. Who gets it done for that 71 team?
Well, first off, I got to thank Ron Harrington of Ronster Wraps. He does an amazing job for me on making my cars look pretty. They don't go, but they always look good. Of course, Mrs. Goodies, all my buddies and Do Good Motorsports. I love racing with these guys every week. They're the reason I keep coming back, no matter how bad the night is. Everyone Races podcast. All my friends that race 24 Hours of Lemons. Some of them occasionally will watch and cheer me on, I'm sure. But that's about it. And of course, you guys, all you guys that put on this broadcast, Chad, that you know, runs this league. Oh, anybody that runs any leagues, I give them a lot of credit because I know what kind of headaches, and you guys as well, the announcers, you guys put up a lot of stuff. So,
well, we definitely appreciate it, Dave, and we're definitely happy to see both yourself and Dusty up here on the podium tonight. Always good to see the underdogs with solid finishes. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
That's Dave Carpenter, your runner-up here tonight. And now, Chris Wright, why don't you do us the honors of talking to our race winner? Fourth time this season, by the way, a Leighton Norgard.
Yeah, I am standing down here with the Leighton Norgard. Leighton, you played the strategy right. You pitted when you needed to, made your way through the traffic. I'm sure it was a little chaotic for you at times, maybe even a little nerve-wracking. But you got exactly what you needed out of that long green flag run and managed to catch that caution late. And we were talking about how it didn't matter if the caution came or not at that point. But talk to us about your night and if that's the way you planned it out when you pitted there.
Yeah, I the race wasn't really quite going the way I wanted in the first 20 laps. So I figured I would take tires and try and do something different and see if I could make something work. It was a definite gamble because a lot of the time when I pit early, I end up in the back and something goes wrong in front of me and I get caught up in it. But I kind of lucked out and got through everything clean tonight. I did not think we were going to get that long of a run, but the longer it went, the better it worked out for me. So I am very much happy with that. I just did not think that I was making the strategy call that was going to win the race.
Yeah, you said you lucked out. I don't know if you can call it lucking out. I think what you did was the strategy call that you made. It's not lucked out when you have to go through the whole field there, pass everybody, and you did it very patiently. We watched it, and we saw it get a little chaotic around you at times. At any point, did you think, oh, no, I might be in a wreck right here?
Yeah, at one point I was behind a couple cars, one of which being Mark Bilas, and that's always a little bit of a scary moment, but the two of them both got up into the wall in front of me as I caught up to them and kept it together and got by them cleanly. But yeah, there were definitely some sketchy moments that I could have done without, but glad I stayed green, glad I stayed out of trouble, and glad I got the win.
Well, I wasn't going to ask this, but after you said that, I mean, can you tell us your feelings on Mark there? A little bit of slander there from Mark.
Mark is Mark's a guy. He does some silly things sometimes, so never quite sure what I'm gonna see from him. But once we're in the race, it's usually a lot better than in practice. We'll say that.
Well, all right, Elaine, what were you thinking there when that caution came out? You had that green-white checkered. I'm sure there was a million things running through your head, and then the green came out, and they basically let you get away about 10 or 15 car lengths before they decided to restart.
Yeah, I did not want to see a yellow, obviously. I had a nice big gap, a lot of margin to play with. But when that yellow came out, I was pretty sure I was going to be able to get tires and get out in the lead still, so that worked out fine. The biggest thing was that restart, and Dave got not a very good jump there, so that worked out well, and got a nice big gap again. Let me relax a bit. Didn't have to push too hard and do anything silly, and everything worked out.
All right, and one last thing, Leighton, who helps get you to the racetrack every week, and where are you taking these trophies back to?
All the guys at Abbott Motorsports. Corey, he had a little bit of a rough night, but ran at the front a lot of the time. Andrew brought out the yellow. Thanks, Andrew. Had Dom running tonight. He had a bad disqualification. Unfortunate situation there. And had Thomas Coonan running with us, stealing him from Robert. We'll see about that. But yeah, all those guys, a lot of fun to race with. A lot of fun.
Well, all right, Leighton, congrats on the win, and maybe get some more of these trophies, and maybe a championship trophy, a big one here in a few weeks' time at the end of the season.
Yep, I needed that win tonight to get myself up in those standings, so we're going for it.
So actually, I'm going to jump in here real quick. Just a quick note on those standings, Leighton. The gap between first and second is at 2 points. Michael Hosick leads the points by 2 over yourself, and you have Jay Connor up there 8 points back of the lead as well. So the top 3 separated by 8 points, which is 3 races to go. What's your feelings about that one, and how are you going to set yourself up for Bristol next week?
It's a tight race here in the standings. Sounds like Bristol has usually been a pretty good track for me, more so on ARCA than the other cars. So hopefully I can pull something off there, get a good finish, stay out of trouble again. That's all I can do.
Well, and Leighton, best of luck. I almost called you Andrew. Shout out to Andrew Hardcastle. Congratulations on the solid run here tonight. We'll see you next week at Bristol, my friend.
Yep, thanks, guys.
That was a Leighton Norgard, not Andrew Hardcastle, your winner here tonight at Dover. Chris Wright, final thoughts from you. And first off, thank you for joining me this evening. Always nice to have you up in the booth, no matter what series we're calling.
Yeah, it was a fun night. It was a great race. I really enjoyed the green flag running in the middle, all the different strategies people took there, and We really didn't get a chance to talk about it because typically, we're not talking about strategy to the end of the race at lap 15, 20, 25. But tonight, that's exactly what we got. The decisions that these guys made early in the race affected the end and who had to pit and win and catching that caution. And it's a great race, great run for Dover. And it's always fun to be up here with you, Robert. It's always fun to be up here in the booth. And when I have time, when you ask me, and a lot of things going on outside of this. But anytime I have time, I'll make time and come up here and have a great time. And congrats on Leighton getting the win. We talked about how good he is at Dover in every car at the start of the race. It's almost like we could see the future there with the Leighton. It's an unfortunate end tonight for Tommy. He was the class of the field and had to make that second stop. But like Josh said when he was in here, how do you miss your pit box there when you qualified on pool? That's a new one. And Tommy spent a lot of time on this server and on this service. And so something must have happened there where he couldn't get left or something took place there. And just one little quick second changed the whole end of the race there for Tommy.
So, Chris, actually, I just realized something with that victory here tonight, and I'm actually going to pull Leighton Norgard back in real quick because he has created a record or broken a record in the ARCA series. Hey, Leighton, welcome back to the booth here real quick. We just realized that you have broken the all-time wins record in the Pit Pass Network ARCA series, now standing alone at the top with 5 victories compared to Ethan Stanley and Justin Fuller at 4. How does it feel to be statistically the best driver ever to take part in the Pit Pass Network ARCA series?
I mean, I'll take it. Even if I don't win the championship now, I have something over Ethan Stanley, so there's that.
Well, that's what we want to hear. Congratulations, record holder, Leighton Norgard. Chris, always cool when you can set a record. And, of course, you yourself, how many wins you got in this series? You got any?
Just one. We got one. But we also got the big trophy at the end of the year. So
that's right. That's all that matters.
Ethan Stanley, I've got Ethan Stanley's championship trophy that he should have won that he didn't. I keep it over here and take great care of it.
Just keep it safe. He gets weekend visitation rights with the trophy. But anyways, hang on,
one more thing.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
I just saw this on Twitter. Connor Thompson-Gardner finishes 20th today, but he had his gallbladder removed today. So shout out to him for being able to get on here and race after having surgery just earlier this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out there to Connor Thompson. That's tough. That's really tough. But kudos to him for being able to do that. And kudos to everyone that tuned in tonight. Chris Wright, 243 views throughout this broadcast. I think that's going to be one of the highest view counts that we've ever had in the series. So shout out to all of you. Shout out to Josh Adams for being our race control tonight. I forgot what that title was, race control. Shout out to Nick Massey for just saying hello earlier on and then going to potentially help Dave Huckleberry. And shout out to all of you once again. But that'll do it. I don't believe there's Cup tomorrow. Is there? Is Cup on tomorrow?
I don't think so. I think we're off the rest of the week.
I believe we are. So the next, no, I believe there might be IndyCar this week. Is there? Anyways, stay tuned to the Elite Racing League on X or on Discord or wherever you find your Elite Racing League news. But on behalf of Chris Wright and myself, Robert Hill Jr., we thank you for joining us. Have yourselves a good night.